Hey, everybody, welcome to this episode of Think Business. Looking forward to talking with David Tamm of Pencerita.com. David, I usually ask this question at the end a lot of times in my interview, but I'm going to ask it at the beginning because I usually will say I'll say to people in a speed round, what do you want your legacy to be? But now Pencerita, that's basically what you do. You're a legacy collaboration company. Pencerita.com, and really the through line of your company is about committed to returning to the heart of authenticity and really capturing moments. So can you talk a little bit about how you capture legacy?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. So what we've done is we've created a platform, web app, as well as Android and Apple mobile, and where you can create custom content, long form content using any type of media, right? Opposed to kind of the status quo where it's picture, text, video, text, ad. What we've done is created a very intentional platform where you can drag and drop music, art, documents, pictures, video. We can transcribe audio into text if you don't have use of your digits or you're older and can't use a phone. And then you have the ability to answer one of our thousands of curated questions that we've actually written for you to seed the creative process, or you can just create your own, choose your own adventure. And then the really cool part about this, the patent pending portion, or we've got several of those, is that body of work then gets saved. And then you can create triggers around when to share it and how to share it. So we've got people that are in their 90s today creating content to be shared 25 years from now, wishing their great great grandbaby, congratulations on graduating college. And that child is now 2, right? So that's kind of the overall gist of it.
And is that and just talk about the pros of that, and maybe not the cons of it, but sometimes the mourning process can be pretty intense, and then all of a sudden you get this, more than a sign, you get this video. How does Pencerita prep people that it's happening?
Yeah.
Right? So it's more about looking forward to it than maybe the shock or surprise of it.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it's all about posthumous messages of love and being remembered how you want to be remembered, right? So putting the user back in control of their narrative and their data, right? And so we've got overwhelmingly positive feedback from, graduates from college or newlyweds that just had a baby all the way up until, we're in our 80s, 90s, and 100s, or we're in our 50s and just got a stage 4 cancer diagnosis. That's one of our beta users as well, who I've got to get all of it out and documented and shared before it's too late.
Yeah.
Right? So yes, there's always, what ifs are going to happen, but let me give you like one of the beautiful moments of the what ifs, right? So we have one of our guys, he writes a guitar song every single month, records a sheet music, records a video of him playing it, and his daughter doesn't even know that any of it exists. And on her 18th birthday, she's going to get surprised. There's something waiting for you at Pencerita, and it's all of that content that he created, whether he gets hit by a truck tomorrow or not.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like what's amazing is, it's almost, it almost feels like it could be used as kind of a life insurance thing, in the sense of you hope you never have to use it, but you're building it along the way.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like, even somebody, myself, I'm healthy, I'm this and the other, but I could still be utilizing the platform to be documenting things. My father-in-law just did this book where he got a question a week from my brother-in-law.
I heard of this.
Yeah. And then he answered it. And then after a year, he published it. And then my wife got a copy, my sister-in-law, and then, they got a copy. So it was pretty cool. It was just kind of capturing, but it sounds like anybody can really do this in real time, in good times or in maybe potential upsetting times.
Yeah, I've been married. We just had our 2-year wedding anniversary.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you. We're both happy and healthy, but I want to do something special for our 10th, right? So I'm taking little tidbits, each month, fun date nights, and putting them in a Pencerita file. It helps me organize them. It uses AI to give creative insights of how I might be able to create content that speaks to her based off of her creative medium, right? And then on our 10th, hopefully I'm still around, she's going to get an invitation to it, to be able to look back on all those special moments. And it's very intentional. Yeah. So I love that book concept, by the way. The only The only drawback is it's a book. They get lost. You know what I mean? It's I was a prior military guy, and the only record I have of one of my combat deployments is an old dusty iPhone on top of the closet. It doesn't exist other than that. You know what I mean? So we're trying to give something to the world that will be lasting and enduring, but you still be in control of that narrative.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service.
Thanks.
Yeah. Thanks so much. Yeah. But I mean, really, you could look at this now and say, you know, I know for my son who's 19, almost 20, my wife made a scrapbook. My daughter, she was just too busy, right? So it's like a couple pages in, but you could really do this and say to yourself, like, hey, I'm going to kind of capture videos and this and the other. I mean, you could use it as a piece of software almost to just capture whatever you need or want to when it comes to giving memories in stages of anybody's life.
Yeah, absolutely. And that is the goal. Is I've got the app on my phone right now, and went on a date this weekend, took some pictures, photos, came home, wrote a couple of paragraphs. It was very intentional because I had the reminders set, and now it's good. Nobody gets to see it. It doesn't get to get shared. It's ready when you're ready to share it based off of those specific rules. So it's a different interface. People aren't used to, right, this kind of intentional storytelling opposed to the status quo of social media, you know, instant dopamine hits and likes and unlikes. You know?
And well, it seems to me like I journal every day, you know, and I have like 10 different journals. I journal like different things. Like I'll say like, you know, what I'm grateful for. And I just break them up into 10 different journals because it's on my notes app. So it's easy. It's not like I'm carrying around 10.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of times people think about journaling for themselves, kind of the inward work to kind of like, you know, get through the day. But this is kind of like journaling for somebody else with long-term intentions.
Totally. And one of the things that we've discovered, we've been working on this project for almost 4 years now, right? And we've got leaders from billion-dollar companies that are collaborating on our go-to-market strategy. And what we're seeing is not only that, is it long-term investment into other people, but it's also extremely therapeutic, right? We have people that have gone through in our alpha, beta, and usability testings that have been through seriously traumatic events in their lives. And by having a safe space where nobody's coming in and trying to steal your data and sell it to the highest bidder, you know what I mean? You can tell your story and then you can process those events and look back on them. I actually write messages for myself to be open next month. Hey, these were your goals on the 1st, David, right? Talking to myself.
Yeah, I love that from a sales perspective. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But then also think about it as we're talking with children's hospitals and Homemade America to fight homelessness, right? And how we can give these things, this platform to people that are really struggling to get inspired by people that really have made it through. There's a lot of philanthropy work through Pencerita as well that we're looking at.
Yeah, it really is. It's so usable in so many different ways.
Thanks.
How did you come up with the idea? You said you've been working on it for 4 years. Where did the idea sprout from?
Thanks for asking. Great question. When I was finishing up my time in the military, my grandfather was getting up there in age, in his 90s, and I was taking leave to come back and visit him every so often. And he was starting to go downhill cognitively, physically, you know, just age happens. And my last interaction with him, we were sitting in his living room, and I could just tell he was like really struggling with comprehending, remembering who I was, you know, and it like kind of crushed a little bit of a piece of me, but also, oh wait, I know so much about software, or I think you do, that I can create a platform that might help with the aging process. And so that seed germinated in my mind, and then I fell asleep on a plane on the way back from a real estate conference and just woke up with the idea. Like I tell people, it was totally given to me by the cosmos, God, aliens, whatever. And I just started writing fervently. And
how did you know? What do you mean it was just given to you? Because
you ever woken up and just had like a lightning bolt of an idea or a concept?
Yeah, a lot.
Oh, that's a really good one. But it was put there because there were the fundamental ingredients in your brain or life leading up to it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I believe happened. I mean, it was this lightning bolt of an idea that I just started writing. And because I knew how software platforms and architecture and SaaS and marketing worked, I was able to wire diagram together the company. By the time the flight landed, I pretty much knew, okay, this is what I need to build.
Yeah.
It's grown and iterated over the last 4 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's amazing. That's amazing. And let me ask you a question. When it was given to you and then you wrote it down, how did you then know how to talk about the journey of getting it to actually launch?
Yeah. Gosh, it's been a crazy one. It first started with me trying to do it on my own. I was spending savings, putting it on credit cards, getting developers from overseas, just trying to do everything myself. And then I realized I can't do this on my own, right? And I think that's a lesson for a lot of solopreneurs out there. And so I pulled in a couple of very close friends. One of them, a mentor, had a guy just volunteer, hey, I can throw some cash at this. I'd love the idea, because he had personally gone through something very similar. And then I had a close friend who had lost his father to Alzheimer's. And so he wrote our first content path, 20 questions I wish I could have asked my dad before he left. And then it just grew and grew and grew. And over the course of the last 4 years, we're now 22 team members. We've had a whole bunch of investors, a whole bunch of patents, and we're going to go to market early next year.
It's great. Thanks. I'm excited for you. I know on your website, it talks about stay tuned, stay tuned, stay tuned.
Yeah.
And it sounds like you've been beta testing it, which I think is great. And, I love that you are, I know that you're doing this podcast before it launches, which I think is to kind of pre-market and to build it and to do it. But I want to have you back when it launches.
That would be amazing.
I'd love to have you back a couple times. Yeah, I think it would be great, because I think this can be used for so many different ways, not only for yourself, but for others, for your legacy, and really for as a sales tool in many ways. So I love the product, but let's do a quick speed round. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
A book that's had the biggest impact on you.
Driven. Dr. Brockman, or Brackman, however you pronounce it.
Yeah, that's a great book. Yeah. Best piece of advice you've ever received.
I know this is supposed to be a seed round, but I'm not a quick thinker, sir.
It's all right.
Believe in yourself.
And then finish this sentence. One thing everybody needs to do to keep their legacy alive is?
Tell your story.
Yeah.
No matter how dirty it is, tell it.
Yeah, I love it. Think community, always appreciate you tuning in. As you know, I'm a business coach. I work with successful people who are stuck. I get them unstuck. The guests on this show help you get unstuck as well. I love, David, what you talked about with Pencerita.com, and really holding on to your legacy, but more importantly, sharing your story. And there's no right or wrong time to start, but the best time to start is now. As I'm sitting here talking to you, it reminds me of the quote. I may be getting this wrong a little bit, but the best time to plant a tree is 20 years ago. I think this is one of those things where, life goes, so fast, but in the moment, it doesn't feel like it per se. And so capture the moments and tell and share your story. I love it. Tell people who your ideal clients are again, and where they can connect with you and get to Pencerita.com.
Absolutely. It's literally any individual consumer that is looking to tell their story in a totally new way, in a safe environment where you can be in control of your narrative. And if you just want to go to Pencerita, it's PENCERITA.com to check it out.
Perfect. All right. Think community, tell your story. We talk a lot about storytelling here, the power of storytelling. And this is just taking it to another level, because it's really, really personal. David, stay on for a minute, but we'll definitely catch up. Think community, thanks so much. If you need anything from me, JonDwoskin.com. Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, man.